Hello, I'm Marcus Sedgwick, the author of Blood Red, Snow White and the forthcoming Kiss of Death. In The Kiss of Death, I've written a sort of sequel to My Swordhand is Singing, and I say sort of because it actually takes place 100 years or so after the action finishes in Swordhand, and that's because I don't like to get stuck doing one thing, and I wanted to, I'm not particularly a writer of series or sequels, and although I wanted to develop that story, I wanted to also distance it. And so Kiss of Death works on its own. If you've read Swordhand, there's some links that you will spot in there very easily, but if you haven't, it should be a book that stands on its own. Marco is a doctor's son who's arrived in Venice. He's actually half Venetian, but he has never lived there, so it's all strange and new and foreign to him. And he's come across the Adriatic from his home, looking for his father, and there he meets Sorrel, who has also lost her father, and they go on a mission together, basically to find and rescue their fathers from the different perils that they're in. I just had a great time in Venice, and I went out there to write because this was quite a different book for me actually. Swordhand, bizarrely, okay, it's a fantasy story and it's about vampires, did take an awful lot of research because I was trying to find these original folk tales of where the vampire legend started. But having done that in Kiss of Death, it was much more just about having fun with the material that I'd found from Swordhand, setting it in Venice. And the reason I set it in Venice is because everyone knows Venice is a very beautiful and opulent place, but actually there's a really dark gothic underside to Venice too. And I visited it in the winter a few years ago during Carnival, and that's an extraordinary time. And you might be in one square and it's full of people and a riot of colour, and then you'll walk around the corner into another square and it'll be deserted and just mist rolling in off the lagoon. And that kind of atmosphere was the atmosphere I wanted to get to with Kiss of Death. So as I say, for almost all the books I've written, Kiss of Death has probably the least research and just the most, me having, fun with the material. You can't write unremitting horror, particularly for this age group. There's got to be some joy and hope and redemption in there, and that's usually provided by your heroes and heroines. And a nice, gentle love story, doesn't do anyone any harm.